Hey, today we'll talk about the latest major order and talk about how there are new weapons being on their way. I've got a pretty good idea of which weapon it might be, so we'll talk about that, plus we'll need to address the latest update that has a game-breaking bug and much more. If you enjoyed the video at any point, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up by tapping the like button below. Let's start by discussing the weapons. There's a huge possibility that we'll see new weapons in Helldivers 2 from the very first Galactic War. I'm sure it'll be a stratagem instead of a primary or even a secondary weapon that you typically see in war bonds. Now, where's the proof, and why do I have a good idea of what weapon it'll be? Great question if you're asking yourself that, because if you look at the bottom here where it says dispatches, then look right here at this paragraph and it says strategic update. The first layer of rubble covering the advanced weapon lab on X45 has been cleared. Initial reports show the facility remains largely intact. It is possible there is even a cache of still functional weaponry from the first Galactic War contained in the lab. Further excavation efforts are ongoing. There are talks of potential weapons from the first Galactic War, and I highly doubt they will include the anti-tank mines this time. If that's the case, it'll be quite disappointing, but I'll probably have a good laugh about it. I believe it's more likely the leaked commando stratagem from a few weeks ago that Sony accidentally revealed. If you're not too familiar with this information, take a look at this image. The weapon being held here is unlike anything seen in Helldivers 2, but it is reminiscent of the original Helldivers game. The weapon here is from the first installment of the series, originally named MLS-4X Commando Mark III, and here are the weapon stats for the very first game, and towards the bottom it says anti-tank, assisted reload, and homing. I believe the commando in the Helldivers 2 will function similar to HD1 and should include all the features listed here. Although the stats may differ, I'm confident we'll see homing, assisted reload, and anti-tank. Let me know if you agree or disagree that this will be the next weapon, and feel free to share your own thoughts on what the new weapons could potentially be. Continuing with the major order dispatches, I have one more status update, and it's quite humorous to be honest. Here's what it says. Cybersecurity alert: automated hacking efforts in the form of malicious messages have been observed recently. These messages prey on well-intentioned patriots with subjects like, check out this photo, your citizenship classification has been upgraded, and dissident, talk amongst your friends. These attacks allow our enemies to access and steal your personal and breach our security data. Stay vigilant, report any suspicious messages to your cybersecurity officer. So none of you should click on any suspicious links, especially those claiming bang hot Helldivers near you. Just click the link to find out, or claim your 200 free samples. These are just automatons trying to steal your data, so watch out for those sketchy bots trying to breach our computer systems. Moving forward, the latest update was released sometime yesterday, and as you all know, I discussed it, talked about it a bit, and most importantly, I mentioned how the developers had patched the recent crashing and infinite HellPod loading screen bug. Well, guess what? It's still here. I read a comment yesterday, which you can't see here, claiming that the bug still exists. That's correct. Some have had it resolved entirely, while others have not. This has been confirmed over on the official Helldivers 2 Discord by one of the support team members. Vitamin B, the support team member, said, "Hey Helldivers, we're working on the infinite HellPod fallen bug. It's proven to be quite hard to reproduce in order to find its exact cause. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen by now, our fix didn't quite do it for a lot of affected users. I've spoken with the developer, and they're asking for some more information that might help them track this down. We're working on it, but if you want to help, you can submit your report on the help desk with the following information. For players who are playing with their friends, it would be good to know exactly what happened for the host and each client when this happens." And you can see there are questions about whether anyone else had crashed, how many were in the group, did anyone Alt F4 during the loading screen, and so on. If you'd like to help out the support team, head over to the Zendesk site, which there will be a link down below, and let them know what's going on. It might help the game overall. There is some good news about this post, because if you've experienced some performance issues recently or even previously, there are 2 workarounds you can try out as listed by the support team member. The first one is to verify your game files on Steam. This is quite easy, and I would generally assume that everyone knows how to do this, but I will provide a quick guide on how to do it. You can verify any game you own by right-clicking the game, selecting properties, going to installed files, and clicking verify file integrity. If you are asked to replace any files, just agree to it, it's normal. The second method is just as easy, but requires you to delete a specific folder in the Helldivers 2 app data folder. You can find the folder by pressing Windows plus R and then typing %app data %. You should see a folder called Arrowhead. Click on that and then the next folder should say Helldivers 2. Delete the shader cache. When you restart the game, it should automatically recreate the same exact shader folder. Now, is that the final issue? Is that the last bug? No, there's apparently one more issue going on right now, and that's with superior packet methodology. Right here, we can see a post by Twinbeard over on the Helldivers 2 official Discord, where he says, SPM is indeed working as intended. There's one minor bug mentioned below. There are a few things we're considering tweaking that might improve the experience with it. But overall, it's working as it should. Here's a short QA, please holler with any follow-ups. Then he continues on in the post to include some questions. The first one is the SPM supposed to affect supply boxes and how? Does it depend on whether the person with a backpack has SPM unlocked or not? Then Twinbeard continued on to write, as it stands right now, SPM only affects boxes from the resupply stratagem, not the supply backpack, and not the random ammo boxes you find on the map. This is how it's intended to work. We're considering making SPM affecting the supply backpack as well, but currently it doesn't. The second question right here says, explain how SPM works for the host versus for the other players in a team. If the host has unlocked SPM, the entire team gets access to it, correct? If the host doesn't have it, it doesn't matter if anyone else in the team does, it won't apply anyway, correct? The answer to that, Twinbeard wrote, if the player who summoned the resupply stratagem has purchased SPM, this supply rack will restore full ammo for everyone who uses them/picks them up. Because when you request a resupply stratagem, it's sent down from your ship. There should be no differences if you're not the host or not, as far as we know. The third question here says, up to recently the recoilless rifle and the spear increased the number of rockets from 2 to 3. That was reverted with one of the latest 2 hotfixes. Was this intended? Or is it a bug? The answer to that is no. The RR and spear revert isn't intentional. We didn't know about it. If we did, we wouldn't have mentioned it in the patch notes. We'll take a look at this. Thanks. And last but not least, we have this question which says, I know there's a discussion about making a better visual distinction between default and upgraded boxes to easier be able to tell them apart. Could you tell us a little more about that? The answer to that is yes, having them stand out from one another is a must. We'll try to push this through as quickly as possible. Now, I do have to say, while all this is frustrating, at least we're seeing some improvements and new ship modules to play around with. Speaking of which, have you noticed the changes to the ship after purchasing the payroll upgrade? It's incredible because you now have to walk a bit further to reach the computer to purchase upgrades. There are some computer screens here to the left and right. Nothing secretive there, so don't bother too much with the screens. Although I would like to see a TV screen in here so that if the news were to pop up, I wouldn't have to run all the way back to see what's going on. It's not a big deal, but it's something I would like to see at some point. And with that aside, lastly, B Vitamin has responded to users about issues going on with the collisions and so much more, and so the support team member replied with, developers have a number of ballistic shield related issues on their radar. Not sure if this is one of them, so I will check. I have multiple support tickets relating to the issue, so I will confirm with them. Speaking of this bug, there is a funny bug with it. If you hop inside of a mech suit while the shield is equipped, it will force you to slide in one direction. Anyways, on a positive note, yesterday I had brought up some armor concept art by Lucas Ostrom that was brought up during the development of Helldivers 2. Well, I decided I'd ask for permission from a different Arrowhead Game Studios artist that goes by the name of Tor Wiluski. If you'd like to check out his page down below in the comment section, definitely do so. With that aside, he has given me permission to talk about this in today's video, such as this right here. During the development of Helldivers 2, you can see how incredible the green automatons look here. It's completely different from what we received, especially the very last one, which is interesting and looks insane. This right here was also brought up during the concept phase of developing Helldivers 2. Can you imagine how you would face off against a spider tank like that? Would you go after the legs, the top portion, maybe even the back of the tank would have a vulnerable spot like tanks or mortars do in game? So yeah, this was during the concept phase, so this is not coming to the game. I thought I'd bring it up so you guys could check out his work and we could talk a bit about it. And with that aside, this is your Helldivers 2 news. We're now going to talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment is by Dream11 Walker. Please no goofy outfits, please no crossover outfits, please keep it consistent with the feel and look of the game. I'm not playing Fortnite. The second user is Luke Mihalik 370. Dude, targeting mortars? Oh my god, my knees are weak, my squad is in so much trouble, so awesome. And last but not least, Silly Cat Enjoyer 1. We can finally focus all our mortars onto one concentrated point to ensure nothing gets through. You shall not pass. So there's your top 3 comments from the previous video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.